Every Sunday, I wake up super early before the sun is even out, and I drive down to ride Happy. I'm usually at the barn no later than 6:30. Today I got stuck in a little bit of traffic, so I got there around 7. But it's a really great way to start my Sunday, and I love seeing Happy and riding before everybody is there. Getting to the barn this early generally means that I'm the first one here and I help feed and get everybody turned out, but I also get to see all the ponies before everybody gets there, and I get to pretend like they're secretly all mine. As of late, Happy's been wearing his Weather Beat Us ceramic sheet at night, which I do think has made a huge difference in how he feels and how he rides on a daily basis, and it's been keeping him super warm. We've also been using some sports medicine boots instead of his regular just brush boots that I have for Polework. Happy usually is not very antsy around the mounting block, but today as I was walking out, Stephanie and her mom were also walking their 2 boys around the property since they're both on rehab, and he did not know why he was stuck in the arena, why they were leaving. So he was a little bit difficult to mount, but we made it in the long run. So all of this footage that you're going to see of me riding is captured with the Pivo. I really like the Pivo, but there are times, like what you're about to see, where it does not track me, and I don't know why. So you'll see different parts of this where it's clipped, and it's because the Pivo just decided to stop tracking me.
Why are you not tracking me? Just try walking right in front of it. If it doesn't work, then... Hi, there's a horse here.
So I just usually have to restart the app and then get mad at it, and then it works. So now it's tracking us just fine. For our fall-winter rides, we've been trying to keep him a little warmer, and so I've been using his Smart Pack winter fleece quarter sheet, and then I also have on him the Smart Pack Smart Therapy ceramic saddle pad. That saddle pad has been amazing. I can't even tell you the difference it has made for him. He used to take a good long while to warm up into stretching, and he has been warming up so quickly with that ceramic pad on, so I totally recommend it if you have a cold back horse. I'd like to apologize for the large pee stain that's on his right hind leg. I didn't notice it when I was brushing him, and I did notice it after the fact, and we gave him a nice bath today. But yeah, this is basically like issues of having a gray horse. You kind of just stop noticing stains, because if you noticed every single one of them, you'd go crazy. And there, somehow, the people lost us. You can see me shooting daggers at it and shaking my head as I walk past it, because, oh my god, why? How do you lose a big white horse? Anyways, we usually start our rides with at least 10 minutes of walking, and here I've been trying to ask him to step over and do a little bit of leg yielding. He's really dull to my leg at this, and so I've been working on trying to get him to do it, but without I don't want to say pestering, but trying to get him to do it without constantly getting at him about it. He's getting much better, but we still don't get a full leg yield over. It's typically like the shoulders go or the hind goes, and I'm aware of both of those things happening. I just have to keep working on it with him and make sure that he starts to understand the concept, I think, a little better. But yeah, that's kind of what I use to warm us up for our rides, and we just work on it. Like, see here, I'm moving him over. His hind didn't really follow. And then I ask him to move his hind, and then he eventually straightens out and moves over. So this is kind of how I start him to lift his back and start using his back a little better. Where's the Pivo going? Nobody knows. All right, so we keep that walk going for probably another about 5 to 7 minutes. I figured I'd speed this up so that we don't have to watch me walk, because walking is super boring to watch. So, two things are happening here. I'm sure you saw and noticed his head toss in that corner. First of all, my reins are too long. I'm really trying to get contact, and what's happening is they're slipping through my hands. These are brand new reins, and they're shorter than what I'm normally used to riding in, and they're really oiled, so they slip really easily through my hands. So, they're hard for me to keep at the right length. And then also, Stephanie and her mom walked off towards that like building. It's like a building, it's a bridge, and he thought that he needed to go with them. So he was kind of blowing off my outside leg and my outside rein aid in that corner. And that second time he went through, he really blew it off and like really blew through it. And so I just really got big with asking him to bend. And I think we kind of solved that little disagreement. So when he comes out and he feels a little stiff, which I don't feel like he was really giving me great responses to stretching and engaging there, I will just go right into canter. We just do a couple laps of canter, and it seems to help him to relax his back a little bit better and to start lifting. So that's kind of what the goal was here, was just get him moving, get him cantering, and go back to trot and kind of go back to working on that. There I am, making sure my phone doesn't fly out of my pocket. After that canter, I started to feel a little bit more like he was lifting through his back better. And you see he starts to stretch just a little bit into the contact. So I felt like, okay, good, we're kind of getting to a place where I want to be to really start my ride. I think he looks a little better too, reaching up a little more than he was before the canter. I also, as you can see here, continually trying to gather my reins, and it's just something that I had to deal with this ride. It was just difficult for me to get my reins correct, and I think I ended up getting them right at the end, but I just need to ride more with these reins and get them broken in. also have to remind myself to push him more. So Happy has always been kind of behind my leg, and now he's really not. Now he's much better. When I ask for him to go forward, he goes forward, and I forget that. So I don't always want to push him, even though when I do ask him for more, he gives me more now. So that's also something that we're playing with since he's now maintained on the PSSM treatment and he's actually pushing. I can ask for more and he'll give me more. So you see here, I think that push really, really sent him into the gait that I wanted for this ride. And here I'm trying to like yield him over away from the poles. I didn't want to go over the poles just yet. And he's very stiff. So that's something that we're working on in each ride, and it's something that I'm really going to start focusing pretty hard on with him in the next like coming weeks and months, is getting that leg yield better and having him actually lift and move out through his shoulders. Something else that I'm working on is my hands. I was quite busy with my hands, and it's something that we have been continuously working on, to ask what I need to ask and then let it go, in a sense that I just kind of put my hands back to center and keep a gummy feel on his mouth, but don't keep asking and bumping and all of that. So that's also something that I've been working pretty heavily on, and I do think it's getting better. It's just another thing that I need to work on as a writer for Happy. Both of us still struggle with canter transitions too. It's not just him and it's not just me. I think that I'm pretty used to how he used to canter, and it was basically like um, he'd throw his head, he would sometimes hop into the canter, sometimes he would kind of buck into the canter, and that was all just PSSM symptoms. But now he doesn't really do very much of that, and I honestly think if I stopped really sitting deeply and pushing him into the canter, he would stop hollowing his back and throwing his head. So that's something that we're also working towards getting better, is having that transition be better and both of us doing our own parts to not screw up the transition as much. He's also less balanced to the left, so I do ask for more speed so that I can get him to maybe step under himself a little better and rock back. So that's what we're working on here, is I'm trying to get him to go a little bit faster into a hand gallop so that I can ask for him to move his hind over and under his body. And I do think it's working. I think it's helping him a lot to figure out how to carry himself correctly. After that canter work, I decided I'm going to start just kind of going through these poles and seeing how he is today. Usually he's a little bit anxious, looky at the poles, like you can see here with these holographic poles that my trainer has made. So we're working on getting him, he can look, but continuing to lift his back and to not hollow out over the poles. So I do like how he went through the first set of corners. I don't really like how he went through the holographic poles, and here he did pretty good, I think. So I just like to trot through everything first so that he knows like what he's getting himself into when we go into the canter, because he does have a hard time figuring out where his legs go. And now I think we're going to attempt it from the other direction. Much better approach here. Also not facing the scary palm tree jungle, so that also probably helped us a little bit. And then coming down the center line, The thing at the canter that he has with this center line and this particular setup that we have for this week to work on is that he builds and builds and builds at the canter down that center line towards this grid. And that specifically is what this grid is set up for, is that it's 3 one strides and then the triangle, and he really needs to collect and slow down to get through that triangle correctly. Since we have just gotten this PSSM managed within the last several months, and Happy really never had a good athletic foundation to begin with, we've been trying to do almost like a HIIT training with him, where we'll do intense activity for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then he gets like a 2 to 3 minute walk break. So after that first set of canter work that you saw me do both ways, he got a little bit of a walk break, and now with all of the trot pulls that we just worked on, he's going to get another 2-minute walk break to kind of stop breathing so heavily. As you can see, he's breathing really hard, but he comes down pretty quickly. So once I feel like he's not breathing as hard, then we go right back into working and kind of do another 5 to 10 minutes. And I've been really aiming to get him into a 40-minute to 50-minute ride. And now, just so you know, that's Stephanie in London, and they're going to ride with us for the next little bit. So you can see after our walk break, he's a little bit shorter behind. He's not reaching as much or pushing as much through the contact as he was prior to our break. So I decided to give him a leg yield over to these poles, hoping that that would help him lift and to start reaching under better. But really what I just needed to do was give him a little bit more leg and remind him that, hey, we're not done. We need to keep moving through these poles. And then here you'll see him kind of blowing through my inside leg, inside rein, but I'm also reaching over his neck with that inside rein, which is a bad habit I have. So I need to start actually reaching back and bending him correctly to get to it. And then you'll see here he's almost like a little freight train coming towards this grid like I was telling you, and you'll see he doesn't quite make it through the triangle. He starts pacing. So I mentioned to Stephanie how much of a hard time we were having both directions getting through that grid and through the triangle at the canter, and then she reminded me, as I already said in this video, that I needed to half halt him before I got to it, and it was kind of like a light bulb moment, and I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot that's what I needed to do. So I got a couple more runs through it where he actually did it well, and I'm pretty sure I have a video of that. So that was a perfect example of what I was saying before, where I just slammed myself into his back and I'm like, let's canter. And he's like, whoa, wait, we were trotting. So I ask again here. Didn't slam as hard, but I think he was confused at this point because he was like, well, you asked me to canter by slamming into my back, and then you told me not to canter, so now what do you want? And so I tried to get him a little bit round again through the trot, and then we asked again. And really what I need to focus on is not slamming down into the seat of the saddle, but to use my legs to give him a good direction on how to canter and just kind of give him a gentler seat to canter off of. So you see here again, I'm reaching over his neck and asking for that bend to get him to these poles, which then leaves him blowing out his inside shoulder. So all things that I still need to work on. Nobody's perfect, and I'm definitely not perfect by any means. And that was a better run through at the canter. We actually made it through the whole triangle at a canter, but then of course, as you saw, we trotted out of it. He still also struggles with, once he's made it through everything, he's like, oh, I'm done. I don't need to keep this canter anymore. And I think it's because he gets tired and he gets mentally tired and he just wants to be done. So that's also something that I've worked on, is trying to get him to keep moving through and around whatever obstacle we're doing. Here you can see he's getting really tired, and I think he also wasn't sure how to approach that triangle out of canter. So he starts to get really trantery when he gets tired, and this was really towards the end of our ride. So he gets like 3 or 4 pretty good strides starting out at the canter this way, and then when I ask him to move his hind over, his legs become like jello and they're all over the place. So since he was cantering better at the beginning of this ride, I think he just was tired. So I do take him one more time through these poles, and then I think after he gets through these poles, we call it a day on this left lead.
Look, leaping crow hops are a lot easier to ride.
I got that on video.
Yeah. I thought you did.
So I was laughing because Stephanie had just asked London to canter to the right, and he took off like leaping, bucking, and farting, and she was in a bareback pad, which was impressive that she was able to stick that and continue to ride, but we were laughing about just how funny it was about his takeoff. And here, Happy again is getting tired this way too, so I just tried to get one more good thing. Oh, and me just, reaching my rein over his neck to get him to leg yield, which is not helpful for anyone. But I tried one more time to get him to go through this grid, and then we were basically done.
Alright, well, I'm gonna see if I can do this while my horse hopefully doesn't kill me. We're cooling out. He was very good. Seemed like he learned a lot in our lesson yesterday. We did a lot of Polework and cantering over the poles. He still is so blocked in his shoulder. He's so much better about his hind. He's moving his hind out around so much better. But this is like, I gotta be like up here to get my whole head in this thing. Maybe we'll do this. And he was doing better today. I decided to use the bit today because I didn't want to fight because my arm hurt today. Yesterday we did bitless and he needed a little bit more than what the bitless was giving him yesterday. Today, so you can tell I'm slightly stressed out doing this. But yeah, so we did a lot of the cantering both ways over the poles through the one grid that we have set up and then through the corner poles. And I mean, he just thought so much better with his feet today, and all around totally different. So yesterday and the days before when I've done pole work at the canter, if he doesn't get the perfect in, then he breaks to a trot and does the crazy spider legs through it. Today we ended on a note where he did split the pole to the left, which is his worst direction, but he kept cantering, and I thought that was a really great achievement for him. I feel like he's learned a little bit more coordination than he had. So yeah, I'm really happy with his ride, and we did about 40 minutes, and Stephanie came out and rode London for a little bit. And now we're just gonna cool out around the ranch, and hopefully I won't die. They're flying planes now, so that's why I'm fearful that I might die, because they do a lot of touch and goes at this airport, and it's a lot of small propeller planes, and they're scary because they're literally like 100 feet from where we're about to ride. So hopefully, like I said, I don't die. Oh god, there's a tractor over there. I mean, he's not normally spooky about stupid stuff like that. As you can see, we are picking up speed. It is definitely fall now. It is super blustery out here. It's gorgeous though. Alright. Okay. Let's see. If I let him build, he usually gets into the trot. I just have to say that when we used to do this and he was unmanaged PSSM, I was never able to get him to move out like this. Like, this was not gonna happen. You know what's not gonna happen? We're not walking that way. That's what's not gonna happen. But now that he's managed, he is like the fastest walker, which he's gated, so you would think he'd walk fast. And we used to ride with my friend who has a gated horse on the trails, and he was 15.3 and he would leave us in the dust. My horse is a whole hand taller. So now, if we were to ride with them, I think he would definitely keep up, if not maybe outpace Cash. Oh yeah, we are not. I think they're coming to drag the arena. It's not going that way. Let's go over the bridge instead. Please, Lord, let us live. Oh, they're not turning. All right, we'll just go back this way. We'll go back the way we normally go. Come on, don't be dumb. Okay, we're not trotting over the bridge, sir. You gotta poo. It's very scary. That's gross. That's gross, Happy. Okay. He's usually very good over the bridge, but right now he seems a little spooky, of course, because I have my phone out filming. He's like, let's give everybody what they want. What is you looking at? Okay, let's not let your little walnut brain get any ideas. Okay, this should be enough. Oh, we've noticed that with doing poles, I haven't done any jumping or pole work in over probably 2 years almost, really. So we've noticed that with the poles now, last week when I came out after our lesson and we had done a lot of grid work, poles, literally no elevated poles, just ground poles, his front feet were kinkled. So they were all stocked up. So I've been trying to really make sure I walk him out really good. We have sports medicine boots on, which you saw me put on in the front of this video. In the front, my God. In the beginning of this video. And then I've been trying to walk him as much as I can. I hate cooling out in the arena, so I will not be doing that. So we walk around here and cool him out, and then when I get done, I've been trying to cold hose his legs, which I know it's not as good as icing, but I don't have ice boots, so we're not able to do that. And then I liniment the crap out of all of his legs, and it did seem to help yesterday. So I came out today and he was a lot less stocked up than he was last Sunday. It was less concerning for me, so come on. Again? No. Buddy. So stressed. But yeah, he's doing much better. Soon, cannot ride on the asphalt, which is a good rule to have because I've seen too many people spill on asphalt, horses that are shod, and unshod for that matter, but mainly when I go to horse shows is when you see horses on asphalt. So yeah, that's our lovely outdoor that you just saw me riding in for the last 40 minutes almost. And this is the Psycho. Crazy Bean. Come on. God, your mane's disgusting. So dirty. He don't care. Alright. I'm gonna dismount with this phone in my hand and we're gonna see how graceful it is. Okay. Ooh. Ooh, buddy. Ooh, buddy. Ooh. And we are done. Were you good, baby? Were you best boy? Yeah. Oh, he rolled his eyes at me. He's like, uh-huh. Oh.
So this would be after I gave him a full body bath. I washed his mane, tail, face, and body because he was yellow and gross. And then I decided to put the liniment on him, like I said. So we've been using the sport medicine boots when we do pole work. And then I either cold hose or cold hose and do liniment. Today I didn't cold hose his legs, but I'm putting the liniment on all four. He currently is on a routine of being out from about 7 a.m. to about 6-ish p.m., depending on when my trainer's finished with everything. And then he comes in and eats and he's in for the night. His stall is 12 by 16 stall, so he has plenty of room to lay down. And we feel like with his PSSM, it's been a lot better for him to just be inside at night and out of the elements so he's not getting cold and shivering, which did happen when he was out 24/7. And he's able to get rest. So I would prefer him to be out 24/7, but I don't think with his myopathy that that's actually doable. So being inside, he does get stocked up on a regular basis. When we just in general, his hind legs always get a little stocked up at night just being in, but the newness has come with his front legs getting stocked up with the pole work and jumping. So that's why I'm really trying to make sure that the liniment gets everywhere that it needs to go to make sure that his legs feel good. And then he also has a few little nicks from being outside, so I'm putting some silver honey ointment on his cuts. This one is a recurrent sore that we get. I think it's actually a summer sore. So this silver honey is manuka honey with silver oxide, and it's just an antimicrobial cream. And I gotta put some on his face too after this.
Happy. Come here, Hap. One for you. There you go. Good boys. I don't
Thanks for
have anything else.
watching. Please
Too
like,
close.
comment, and subscribe.
Too close.
Look forward to more content as well.
Too close.